VOA Studio 7 faces collapse as Trump administration threaten fund withdrawal. This is a development that is beginning to happen and which might end up with said news collapsing the radio station Studio 7 that has been providing a lot of news, especially of Africa. There was VOA Africa, and we also had the Studio 7, which happens to be Zimbabwe's own radio station. But we are seeing this because of Donald Trump's dissatisfaction, especially with the leaders of Africa. With the leaders of Africa, like what he has mentioned, that they are sitting on a lot of riches, diamonds, gold, whatever, mineral resources, and yet their people remain poor. All because the leaders of Africa are so corrupt. They are taking the riches of the land to themselves, for their own families, and they don't want to develop their own countries. They would rather go and get medication from other countries out there, and yet leave their hospitals, their own hospitals, dilapidated. Roads, water reticulation systems, electricity, and social welfare of the citizens. All these things. Imagine that African leaders would cry foul because Donald Trump had withdrawn the funding of health, and many of them was crying foul as if it's a right. It's not a right. It's a privilege. And we do have enough resources. Like for Zimbabwe, nobody should ever be crying over the funding from America. We can take care of ourselves. We have too much resources in Zimbabwe, and we don't even need any cent that comes from the administration of Donald Trump. So VOA, finally, they are also talking about a possible withdrawal of the funding, which might collapse that station. So we are hearing that there's no longer a need for American taxpayers to fund VOA America and Radio Free Europe. There's no need for such media outlet, the U.S. President's envoy for special missions said. So this is, and when they start doing their thing, they just do it. But as for VOA, I think, although many people may not agree with me, but I think I'll just have to say this. I don't think really there will be much need to cry over Studio 7, because this Studio 7 that we are listening to today, I don't know how many people agree with me and how many disagree, but you are allowed to disagree with me. Yes, it's fine. But if I can be honest, this VOA that we have, Studio 7, the Studio 7 of today has changed. Studio 7 used to be Studio 7 in the early days. During the time of Morgan Tsvangirai, they used to be reporting for change. But with the time, we started hearing some rumors of them having been bought. I don't know how far true that is. I don't have relevance for that. But it was just rumors that went around that these guys had been given money by ZANU-PF, a lot of it. And they started to tune down. And I think somebody can agree with me, because there was, in the early days, we never used to hear VOA calling Mnangagwa President Mnangagwa. Or you know, but the respect that all of a sudden we started to hear from VOA and the like, and the way that they were reporting, and they started saying now this language of saying we are balanced, we are in between, we don't have any side, and then what. But at first they really reported like Chatufa TV Productions, because you can't come to Chatufa TV Productions and you say that I'm a balanced reporter. I'm not balanced. Chatufa is an activist, is not a journalist, right? Chatufa is an activist. I'm for change. I'm for the alternative. I don't stand for ZANU-PF. I don't defend ZANU-PF. So that's exactly what is happening. But VOA started like that in the first days, because it was started like there was this loophole that was there of Zimbabwe, or rather ZANU-PF, controlling the airwaves in Zimbabwe, controlling the narrative, and America wanted some other view of the truth of what is happening in Zimbabwe to be told to the Zimbabwean people. That's why they came up with that. So it was supposed to be reporting more on the, on the wrongs that ZANU-PF is doing, and the like, things like that. But with the time, we saw that it lost that integrity. And myself, if you ask me, I've long stopped listening to VOA. I don't know how many years now. I think I stopped listening to VOA around 2020, somewhere there, when I really got fed up with them from the way that they were reporting. at times they always get the ZANU-PF people to comment, and then you don't find anyone from the opposition who also comes to counter what the ZANU-PF person has said. And they would always want to be bringing the same people all over and over and over. And I don't know, this is just my observation. Somebody is allowed to differ. If you think that VOA was still having that integrity, but not to me. As for me, no, it's a no. So I don't think personally I would mourn over the VOA closing down. It's unfortunate that maybe some people will lose their jobs, but it's part of life. But as for them really standing for change in Zimbabwe, they were far from it. They were no longer that VOA that we have always known. So this is what is happening. We'll keep you updated if there are any developments towards that very idea. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me on the show, and remain blessed.